Okay, perfect. Today is day 45 trying to make $1 million. I'm really tired. It's midnight, but I need to do this live because I need to post every single day. I need to go live every single day in order to make $1 million. I need to do the inputs to get the outputs I want. So, what I prepare for today, guys? What do you think I prepare for today? I'm real tired. But no matter. Okay? I will continue fighting for my dreams because I only have 1 year to make my dreams a reality. And I post a new short. I love a new short. And YouTube blocked that short because copyright issues. What a problem, guys. What a problem. But no matter, guys. So for today I prepare another video where 145 46 subscribers. Let's go. I hope to have 160 subscribers for tomorrow's stream. And remember that I post every single day and I go live every single day. I for today I already noticed one thing. I speak with a guy that helped me a lot with the market research, and he told me that I need to solve a specific, very specific problem, because right now there's a lot of running shoes, a lot of brands, companies that sell running shoes. So I need to solve a more specific problem. So it, I need to be more specific with the problem that I want to solve. So what's the strategy right now? The strategy right now, so I want to solve a new problem, and is choose durability, because some people uh, want they need a specific type of shoes for training and a specific type of shoes for competition. So probably people want a shoe just for training that have a very that have a very high durability. So I was thinking of a shoe that is similar to a Crocs, but it's still a shoe. Let me search for the shoe that are like some recovery shoes. Some recovery shoes. Recovery shoes. I'm trying to upload this short, guys, because I need to upload every single day. I need to post a new video every single day, get new ideas every single day, and it's getting very hard. And YouTube blocked my video. But I'm going to share screen with you guys in 3, 2, 1. Let's go! Boom! I prepared this amazing video. I was homeless. Now I've got 250 million in assets. Okay, wow. Behind this guy is a Bugatti. I want a Bugatti. Bugatti, bro. I really want a Bugatti. Wait. I will try again. To upload the short. For now, let's watch the video.
Over $1 billion, maybe $2 billion.
This man has a real estate portfolio worth over $200 million. He also has one of the most rare car collections in the world and has a gigantic social media following. But none of this was handed to him. Manny Khoshbin and his parents immigrated to America from Iran. and times were so rough that they all had to live out of a station wagon, his parents and multiple siblings.
What's it like to sleep in a car with 6 people?
A lot of cold nights. You know, sometimes you're subconsciously, you block it. It wasn't easy. Yeah.
With no clear path of success, Manny dropped out of college and started several businesses that failed.
One of our friends used to sell gas stations, open escrow. I put my $20,000 in a bank, turned out to be a con artist. I lost all my money.
But despite these setbacks, things began to look up for Manny when he discovered real estate and now closes deals that are worth 9 figures alone.
In the real estate portfolio, what's been
Good evening, but your consistency always wins out over any niche you choose. Yes, I need to be consistent. Bro, I need to be consistent. I'm really tired. I really want to sleep right now. But I know that there are things that I need to do in order to make $1 million.
like the biggest win you've had?
My biggest win, $50 million on one property.
So how did he do it? In this video, we sit down with Manny Khoshbin to hear the story of how a failed entrepreneur became one of the most respected names in real estate.
So I'm Manny Khoshbin. I made my money in real estate, primarily commercial real estate. I have the passion for cars, as you guys can see, but my journey wasn't easy. I probably went through 5 or 6 different businesses. I failed many times until I found success in buying real estate, adding value, flipping it for a profit. And I've been doing that for nearly 30 years now.
And so for your story, you grew up in Iran. What was going on, and then what was the story for you to come to America?
Iran obviously had history of war with Iraq. At the time the war was going on, my dad had several brothers that got injured. One of them died from chemical bombs they used in the war. And 2 weeks before my 14th birthday, my dad decided to, just take off and avoid me going to the army, because at age 14, they basically, you cannot live there.
Whoa, bro, right now I was watching look at that Bugatti. Wow, bro. I have a question for you. What's your dream car? I'm just curious. What's your dream car? For me, I want a Bugatti.
The country, you gotta submit to an army.
Okay.
And that's pretty young age. And seeing what happened to his brothers, he didn't want me to go get killed or get injured. So 2 weeks before my 14th birthday, we decided to leave Iran, went to Turkey. He was able to get a visa, and we came to US. None of us spoke a word of English except my dad. My dad had been to US before, and he was educated, and luckily he spoke English. But I took 3 hours of ESL for the first 2 years in high school when I was here from 14 to 16, because I didn't speak any word of English. So pretty challenging upbringing, because we didn't have any money. We ran out of money. We ended up, living in a car for a few months until my dad got a job, was able to get an apartment. And but all that pressure everybody went under because of me, that kind of gave me the guilt trip, and I turned that into motivation, try to be successful so I can retire my parents, pay them back. And I did just that. Yeah. After many different failures early on. But yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, and I'm happy to share it, because I know there's a lot of immigrants that come to this country for the American dream, and they get discouraged after a couple of failures. And that was exactly me. But look at me now. So
when you came to America not speaking English, do you remember what your first week was like? Because I can't imagine what that experience is like for someone so young.
Yeah, well, you're just like on a different planet. I don't know my way around. I don't have any friends. I don't speak, and I don't have any money. So basically, Americans that are born into this country, they have all of that, which I didn't have. So I had a pretty roughest start, if you want to call it. But yeah, as a matter of fact, when we first moved here, we went to a Motel 6 in Costa Mesa. And then after, a few nights, my dad figured out we're going to run out of money. So we moved into a car. But I was at the pool, I remember, and there was this young kid. He was giving me the bird, I don't want to put it in.
You could do that.
Yeah. He was giving me the bird, and I thought he's saying hi. So I was like patting him on the back. And then the other guy was saying, somebody was sitting at the pool. He goes, no, that's not good, not good. I didn't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
So not only I didn't speak English, I didn't know the sign language.
That's crazy. What's it like to sleep in a car with 6 people? And like, you guys at a station wagon?
It's not good. Yeah, it was a 1972 Datsun, a station wagon. A lot of cold nights. Yeah, it wasn't good. But I think it was so much suffering and mentally pressure on my mom, especially that sometimes you're subconsciously you block it. You don't think about it. I look at the good times now.
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy. Yes, I tried.
Yeah, no, it's good. What were your parents telling you during that time? And how were they?
Well, my parents wanted me to go to college, so I attended 2 weeks of college, IBC. It's in Irvine. And then I realized, everybody's monkeying around, throwing paper at each other, pens, and I'm like, I showed up there with a briefcase, I'm like, wearing a suit, I'm ready to make money. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then after 2 weeks, I quit. And my mom didn't talk to me for like several months. She was very depressed and upset. But I was eager to make money, right? So at age 18, I started my own business selling nuts door to door. That was my first business.
Oh, selling nuts door to door is very difficult, bro. Oh, door to door, go door to door. I DM business owners a lot, and I every single day in the 2025 IDM business owners every single day is like going door to door and was very difficult, very hard because you get rejected a lot. In my case, it's also a Bugatti, especially the model in the video, and I'll eventually get it. You will, bro. You will get that car. Just believe in yourself, bro. If you can dream it, you can have it. So believe in yourself and do the inputs you need to do in order to get the outputs to get that Bugatti, bro.
It's great until health department find me. They said, hey, you gotta have health permit every time you repackage food for resale, and I didn't know that. So I closed that, but I had about $20,000 saved, and then I realized, maybe I should put that to work. And one of our friends used to sell gas stations.
Okay.
Because at 20 grand you could buy a mobile gas station because you get 90% financing. I'm like, really? I was 20. I think 20 at the time. So we opened escrow. I put my $20,000 in a bank, gave me a loan officer, turned out to be a con artist, and I lost all my money. So that was my first real failure, back to zero. Because it's one thing not having money and not making it, but once you make it and then you go back to zero, it's a hard landing,
Yeah.
So, and then I went back to working at Winston Tires to, again, work for somebody else to save money. And then I got my real estate license because every time I was having a Porsche, Ferrari coming to a tire shop, and I was upselling them, brakes, tires, whatever, alignment. I realized I would ask them, I would say, hey, what do you do for a living? And they would say, oh, either I'm an attorney, but 9 out of 10 times either they own a mortgage company or real estate, right? I'm like, wow, so real estate's good. So I got my license, and then one of the customers that used to come to Winston Tires hired me as a loan officer. So I worked at a loan company for less than a year, and then I learned everything, and then I opened my own mortgage company.
That's a good. It's difficult, but necessary. You have to do what nobody wants to do to have what everyone wants to have. Just because a lot of people want things like a Bugatti, a Rolex, but don't do the stuff they need to do in order to get that things. So you need to be consistent and do the things you need to do. So that's the most important part. And that's where more people get stuck because they just dream. The important thing is daydream. The meaning of daydream for me is act over your dreams. That's the meaning for me. I know that the real meaning of the dream is like imagine things and hallucinating not hallucinating, but mm, just imagine things. But for me, the true meaning of daydream is act over your dreams. You're daydreaming, you are acting over your dreams. So most people need to stop dreaming and start daydreaming.
Company. And 1990 officer. So I worked at a loan company for less than a year. And then I learned everything. And then I opened my own mortgage company. And 1993, I was 22 years old. Opened a mortgage company. I made $290,000 first year. And that was my first taste of success. Real money, right? At 22, 23 years old, having that kind of money. So I bought a 500 SL. I bought a small little condo.
That's important because when you work for someone else, you can learn a lot. I work as a setter for a company, and my job was to the end business owners and sell products, info products, and courses, mentorships. So, and I learned a lot about how a business works, and I learned about selling $1,000 courses. I learned a lot in that area, helping others, how to connect with people and sell products. I learned a lot in that process. So when you work for someone else that is in a higher level, you learn a lot.
I was wearing three-piece suits, smoking cigars. That was like, I felt I'm on top of the mountain. And then rates went up and all my mortgages died because back then there was a refinance boom.
Okay.
And you wouldn't lock your rates in. You would wait, get all the loans approved and then lock them at the last minute to get a bigger rebate from the bank. So I had 40 loans on my boards. Rates went up. Greenspan, 1994, I think he took the rates up 3/4 basis point. Kind of similar to what's happening now. Today the Fed increased the rates for the 10 consecutive time, right? And all my loans went dead. We closed that down. And then I figured, hey, I got a couple of $100,000 saved. I realized discount stores are doing good, 99-cent only stores.
Yeah.
I said, why don't I do 79 cents a store, 79 cents plus? So I opened a 10,000 square feet store in Santa Ana, 79 cents plus, and start making good money. And then I opened a second location. That didn't do well. I closed that one down. And then Food for Less opened right next to me. They start competing with me. And I start going from making 20, 30 grand a month cash to losing money. So at that point, I'm like, this is my second failure. So I start selling my cars. I sold my condo. And after 2 years, I owed 200 some thousand on my credit cards, paying 20% plus interest rate. And everybody told me file bankruptcy because I owed money to Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Rockview Farms, all these vendors, right? They give me 30 days term. And so my accounts payable was going up. My sales were dropping because this big store opened next to me, competing with me. And I said, I'm not going to file bankruptcy. This country, by then I knew, because I was a mortgage business, this country is built on credit. If I file bankruptcy, I'm dead, right? So I fought and basically not fired, but let go of about several employees. And I called my parents to come and become cashiers. So I took me 2.5 years to kind of get to positive cash flow, and I ended up selling it for $185,000. And then I still owed more than I got from escrow from selling the store. So I'm like, okay, if I pay my credit cards, I'm still going to be in the hole. So I opened an E-Trade account. This was December 1998. I opened an E-Trade account. I started trading stocks. So I got it up to 700 grand by September 1999. Then I pulled most of it out and I bought a shopping center and 2 REO homes. And that's how I started my real estate.
What were the skills that you developed at this early time that other people should be learning from? Because I definitely think one that sounds like selling. And another thing you did, which I thought was amazing.
This part is very important. The skills. If you become the best in a very specific skill, you can win a lot, bro. At the beginning you start losing until you become the best at that skill, and then you start winning. So that part is important. what skills do I need to have in
Thing is
order
that
to make a
if
million
you're seeing
dollars?
someone that has something you're interested in, you asked. It sounded like when you saw these people bringing nice cars, like, what are you doing? Because
Yeah.
I can maybe copy what they're doing.
I would say definitely be curious. Always ask questions. Be a sponge. Even now, I mean, I'm always on Google, YouTube. I'm always learning what's going on, what are the trends, what's happening. But always surround yourself with people that are more successful than you, and also be curious. Always ask questions. And I would say, take a sales position in anything, because when you do sales, you're interacting with people. You learn a lot. Everything almost in life is sales. So that would be my advice.
How do you think being
You're interacting with people, you learn a lot. Position in anything, because when you do sales, you're interacting with people, you learn a lot. Everything almost in life is sales. So that would be my advice.
how do you think being an immigrant?
Interacting with people, you learn a lot. And also be curious, always ask questions.
First
And
point
I would
is
say,
to be
take a
curious.
sales position in anything, because when you do sales, you're interacting with people, you learn a lot. Everything almost in life is sales.
Second point, everything almost in life is sales.
So that would be my advice.
How do you think being an immigrant impact your success, especially early on?
Well, I think the hunger, coming from another country, you feel you're in a new environment and you want to prove yourself. You're also learning, right? Because you don't know the environment, you don't know how the business works, the system works. But more than anything, I think just the hunger in me, because I was rock bottom. I didn't have any place to go but up, And I think that was what created that drive in me, And a lot of people take that freedom, resources, friends, being able to speak English, all that for granted because they're here. Right? But if you take all that away from you, you get really desperate.
Yeah.
Real quick.
How do you think others can benefit that aren't immigrants with that mentality, or how can they practice that or develop that?
Well, challenging themselves, for one. You could still go, U.S. is over 50 states. You can go to other states that are, having a new driver as the economy and open a new business, just challenging yourself, instead of sitting stagnant someplace,
What were some of the discrimination or challenges you faced?
Oh my God. I can go on and on that one. Yeah. Camel riders, standing. Oh, okay. No.
Really?
Well, oh yeah. Well, back then there was still a lot of discrimination, especially towards Middle Easterns. So I used to work at Kmart. My first job was at Kmart at age 16. I was mopping floors, collecting shopping carts, and I used to always avoid walking my cafeteria because they used to call me names. So I used to go around, But luckily that period's over. U.S. is now primarily a lot of immigrants. So, it's a lot less now, right, than 40 years ago. But it was tough. A lot of name calling, especially when I was selling nuts. I remember one time I was selling nuts. So what we used to do with my nut business, used to go to all the auto dealerships, because I used to sell, cashews, trail mix, candies to the secretaries, and then the salespeople love nuts, the trail mix, pistachios, and whatever. So one time I walked to a Toyota dealership. I think it was Toyota. Anyway, and this GM came at me, yelling, screaming in front of everybody, the entire sales floor. Tell me, get the F out, blah. And it was very humiliating. And I'm standing there with my basket of nuts. So I remember, walking out, I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Suck it up. And I went to the next dealership and I sold some nuts. So yeah, you just got to keep going, right?
Yeah. Do you think you used that discrimination and name calling and like negativity and funneled that over the years, right? Because you were selling to these car dealerships, and now you have your own dealership.
Yeah, I guess so. If you put it that way, sometimes, life gives you challenges. or sometimes people cause challenge for you, right? You can either accept it and get defeated, or you can prove them wrong, you know. So I turned my doubters or haters now into my followers.
And I can't imagine also feeling so discriminated and discouraged at these times. And then how did you even know what to think of a vision? Because what I'm noticing of some people is they don't know how big they can even dream, like, or how far they can even go. So how were you thinking about that? And how did you get clear on
Well,
that?
I just looked at people that were around me that were successful. Like, you know, when I was at Winston Tire, I used to see people coming there with Mercedes convertible, a few times Ferrari, but a lot of Porsches. So early on, to me, success was having a convertible Mercedes, you know, and that's the first car I bought when I made money. But I didn't even know there is a Bugatti in existence. I didn't know what Bugatti is. But then when I got, you know, years later, I got involved with higher caliber friends that had Bugattis. I'm like, wow, I learned, you know, how much technology legacy is behind the story behind Bugatti, Ettore Bugatti that built Bugatti. Then I started building a passion for cars, and, you know, they're like fine arts.
Yeah.
And so your dream keeps growing with you as long as you have the drive in you to grow.
What's your definition of the American dream?
Okay, that
Definition-
part was
Yeah.
And so your dream
I will
keeps
take
growing
it.
with you as long as you
Dreams along with you as long as you. Point number 4. As long as.
have the drive in you to grow.
What's your definition? Of the American dream?
The definition of American dream is you can just wake up in the morning and decide to take off for 2 months anywhere you want to go in the world and not have to worry about paying the bills.
And do you think this still exists?
Of course. I mean, if you really want it bad enough and you're patient, anyone can do it. I believe that. But you got to have the
Anyone can
drive.
Do it, bro. Whoa. Anyone. Even if you are homeless, you can do it.
You got to have the hunger, and you got to have the never give up mentality, because surely you're going to get to a point you're going to have a dead end and you're going to have to make a U-turn and find a different route.
Well, I'm assuming you think you achieved it.
I think so. I don't know. You know, my wife is still tells me that I'm in denial sometimes. And, well, you know, when you're accumulating wealth, more cars, this, that, sometimes you don't stop to kind of enjoy it because you're always hustling. But yeah, I think I've achieved it.
What is up, my friends? If you are loving this video, you're going to love my free weekly newsletter. I put 3 City app for email.
Commercial property.
First million in real estate. Can you tell us more in detail
Yes.
about that deal?
Sure. So that was a commercial property, year 2000. Because I did own the store, I could qualify for SBA loan for a commercial property to build a vacant building on First Street in Santa Ana. I bought that with 10% down, $67,000 out of pocket. I remodeled it, and then I sold for $1.6 million in less than a year. So that was my first $1 million on a single flip. And then I turned that and used the cash to my advantage, and I started writing a lot of offers on apartment buildings in Long Beach, 6 unit and up. And I was able to buy some, with short closing. So use that to my advantage of getting a price reduction. In return, close it quick with no contingency. And so again, I took risk, but it was calculated risk because I knew, hey, if they're asking 900 grand and I offer them 650 grand, they settle for 700, I just made $200,000, right? Less than what they're asking, because I was able to perform quick and buy it as is. And then I did that, so I flipped probably 200-300 units. And then I started doing office buildings, the similar concept. And as a matter of fact, the building I recently bought for $22 million, I owed $1.5 million non-refundable deposit day one. And there was an offer $26 million, $4 million more, but the seller gave it to me for $22. So
Why did they do that?
because they wanted certainty. So seller was very wealthy individual and just wanted certainty that the person is going to close. The other offers had 90-day due diligence. They wanted to develop it, go to the city, see what they could be built on it. He just wanted certainty. So in real estate, you want to see what the seller's objective is, and if you can fill that void, you make extra money up front. So
I do like that because it's like if you can deal with more uncertainty, you can get bigger upside.
Yep.
What was it like to make the first million? And how?
Oh, he was great. So I think it was 2000 or 2001. So I'm born in 71, so I was 30, 29 or 30. It was great because back then $1 million was a lot of money. Right now, $1 million is not a lot of money, right? Or maybe it is, I don't know. You lose concept of money when...
$1 million isn't a lot of money at the end. In the real world, when you watch all of these world with the cost of the things that you didn't imagine to buy in the first place, but when you compare yourself with what I'm trying to say is that it's a big world, and in this big world, $1 million is nothing. That's the truth. It's nothing. A Bugatti cost $1 million. It's nothing. $1 million is nothing. So at the end, $1 million is nothing, but it's a start. Is the point? Okay, it's not nothing. It's something. It's the point where you start. Because a lot of things cost more than $1 million. So at the end, $1 million is it's just the beginning.
You buy $5 million cars. But no, it was unbelievable. Obviously, I did a 1031 exchange, but when I had my statement that shows $1 million in 1031 exchange cash, that was it was a good feeling. I felt like I made it. Like Borat says, great success.
Is that the moment you felt like you made the American dream, or when was that?
Well, that was definitely a milestone that I never forget. Because I was writing offers, buying the 6-unit, 9-unit apartment complex, all cash, 10-day close, and I was 30 years old. It was like, that's a pretty good feeling. You're setting a powerful seed when you can tell somebody, hey, I'll close in 1 week, but I want 200,000 off, And that worked out really well for me too, because that was year 2001, 2002, and then the real estate had a good run up till 2007. So I was able to, amass a portfolio from that $1 million I started to over $100 million in real estate by 2007.
If someone is just starting out and they want to make $1 million in real estate, and that's their goal, liquid, and they don't have much money, what would be the steps they'd follow? So you're saying residential, how would you think about that?
Yeah, residential. Well, nowadays with technology, back when I started 30 years ago, there was no internet. So I had to actually fly out to Houston, meet with the listing broker, walk the properties, and then I would pick which one I want to buy. Now, you get on CoStar, LoopNet, there's so many multiple listed services, you can kind of do your research online. And to that point, you can also network with other people that have money. And if you do your research and you find a nice value add real estate that's distressed, and you do your research, say, hey, okay, this is mismanaged. If we do this to this out parcel, this tenant, sell it separately, or lease this subdivided, lease it to multiple smaller tenants that pay higher rent per foot. The comps are there to support double the price. And you go to an investor, network with other investors that have equity, bring him as an equity partner and make $1 million. You can do a split. There's so many ways, so many options you have now that you didn't have 30 years ago. So whoever says they can't make $1 million, that's just an excuse. They haven't tried hard enough. So doesn't mean it's gonna.
I'm trying my best. I'm giving my best, bro, to make $1 million. I'm trying hard enough. I know that. because it's midnight, but I still fighting.
Happen overnight. It may take him a year to 2 years to absorb and study that market to be able to sell that to an equity investor. This is a business that takes time to get educated and power up. So
The thing I've always kind of avoided about real estate is anyone can do it. Like I do tech because that's much harder, or making videos like this. It's like not everyone can go and do these things. But I'm missing, like everyone's doing real estate. How are you able to be in the sounds like the top echelon performance? Like what were you doing different?
I would say my timing I was very lucky because that, 5-6 year of run we had in real estate, it was unprecedented, similar to what happened, in the past 5 years, right? But I use the same concept of, just flipping out of each value add into the bigger deal. So basically I scaled my portfolio. Okay? And at some point I had over 2 million square feet in real estate, mostly in Houston. And then in 2007, I realized, just like 1999, when I sold my stocks, I realized, okay, this is a little too good to be true. People were bidding on my high-rise buildings from Florida, New York, without seeing it, on a $18 million high-rise. I had multiple offers. I'm like, this is not normal. It's just too good to be true. So I sold my portfolio in 2007, made a lot of money. I had 1031 exchange and bought a bunch of shopping centers that are anchored by grocery stores and a bunch of about 1 million square feet of industrial, Halliburton, FedEx, Continental Airlines. These were all in Houston because I knew those tenants have a strong balance sheet and they can weather the storm. If we have a recession, surely what happened? We had a recession. Most of my high rises went back to the bank. I ended up buying 5 of them from the bank 3 years later and sold them again. That's another story. But so what I'm saying is, if you take calculated risk and you know how to underwrite a property, and you're on the right cycle, your timing's right, real estate is pretty predictable.
How many places have you bought? And I think and how much have you spent in real estate over the years?
Oh, over $1 billion, maybe $2 billion. I don't know.
And then I think what's also interesting in that, so how many properties is that, Ari? It's like hundreds?
I don't know, 70, 80, maybe 100. Like one deal right now I bought for $22 million and I'm opening escrow for $72 million. So
you're opening escrow for $72 million?
Yeah.
Han, so the person that was selling it, what did they not see that you were able to do?
Oh, I can't disclose that to you. No, I'm just I was like, no, I have a confidentiality with it. It's a huge company buying it from me. But this property was basically, I'm repurposing it. So it's basically a land play. So I bought it because the substantial land in a high density area, and this developer is going to come and put 400 to 600 apartments on it. So to them, they're repurposing the dirt.
So it's good money down. What's the value of your current portfolio today?
I don't even know. No, I'm just kidding. No, a couple $100 million. I've been waiting for a recession to buy because I made all my money in recessions. And that's why I have, probably $30 million in cars. Last recession, I only have one Bugatti because I was buying a lot of properties. So now I'm getting ready, gearing up to load up because next 2 years, I think is going to present the mother of all buying opportunities when it comes to commercial. Not so much residential maybe, but commercial real estate, a lot of defaults. So I'm looking to double, triple that portfolio value.
The two comments on that. One, when you've bought 70 or 80 and you have a portfolio of hundreds of millions now and you've spent billions, I also think it's like, how many places did you put offers on that you didn't get? Because I think that's like kind of a thing that people don't realize. Like, how many have you swung that didn't work out?
A lot. Well, on a good day, I look at probably 20 properties, not physically, but on my lead flow. And I probably write an offer every 3-4 months on one. So if you look at, that's 150 deals a month I look at.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, that's 900 properties I look at with II, right? And then I make one offer. And I haven't been able to get anything in escrow for the past 18 months. That tells you. So a lot of swinging, but I'm not hitting the ball yet.
Yeah. But I think that's the part I really wanted to highlight.
Yeah.
Because your strategy now, it's like you're looking for opportunities in recessions, but it's not.
It's not here yet.
And you just go buy one and it magically works. It's like, I think people don't realize that.
Yeah.
They're not seeing all
that. Yeah. You have to swing a lot of bats to hit in real estate. and you got to be patient because it's a game of patience, and you got to just wait for those cycles. And right now that, we are in a down cycle, so it's already started. And with the Fed's increasing the rates 10 times, that's going to accelerate it. It already has. And I think in the next 18 months, if people are, geared up financially and mentally and powered up, knowing what they're going to be doing in which submarket, they can make amazing returns.
What are the contrarian opportunities or contrarian things that people should be prepared for, thinking about?
Well, when contrarian mentality works with anything, like cars, when we had the lockdowns, some cars were selling for 50 cents on a dollar because people panic. They have the fear of, it's end of the world. Right now, it's the banking industry. You're seeing all the banks, regional banks are collapsing. They're underwater. So a lot of people taking their money out and putting it with bigger banks because they're scared they're going to lose their money. So fear and panic always creates opportunity. And, whether it's real estate, cars, or stocks, in March 2020, as stocks went down 30%, people that bought, they were contrarian, they made a killing, right? So you can use that. Of course, it's easier than said than done. But as you take risk and be a contrarian, and you make money and you have success with it, your balls get bigger.
In the real estate portfolio, what's been like the biggest win you've had and the biggest loss?
My biggest loss was a 6-story building I bought for $17 million, and it was a single tenant. It was a subsidiary of Boeing, USA, United Space Alliance. They used to handle all the communication with a space shuttle, and they didn't get the contract from NASA, so they gave me I got a FedEx envelope with 1 page in there telling me they're going to vacate, and my heart dropped. So $5 million cash down, gone. That was my biggest loss in a real estate single deal, And my biggest win, $50 million, if I close this deal on one property.
How many companies do you have, by the way?
How many what?
How many companies do you have? Like, I went to the building, there's like 18 different stickers of all these businesses.
Yeah, I have a lot of different companies.
Do you have any idea how many?
Something. 6 of them I can count right away on my fingers. But there's a lot others I invested on a silent partner. Like, I own a small percentage of a bank. I have several other companies. I'm just an LP, limited partner. But the ones I'm actively managing, there's 6.
Okay. And then for like owning a house like this, or do you have passive income? Do you have like income from your real estate, and that's what covers the lifestyle?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, my businesses make money, plus I have real estate, cash flow. Yeah, they're not empty buildings. I mean, I have shopping centers. This building, like I have a mortgage company upstairs, pay me a lot of money. I got, I have 2 or 3 buildings that I buy for flip that are vacant. Those are like reposition play. So, but when you have a big portfolio, obviously you have cash flow and some are value add that you're flipping. So it's a function of, it's a lot of fluid, a lot of things happening. And I also make money with cars.
How do you manage all these businesses? And what is your team?
I don't sleep much. I drink a lot of coffee. I get up between 4 and 5 in the morning. So I respond to all the emails because I got properties in 4 different states, and sometimes those are 2 hours ahead. And I start getting emails early, and then I kind of go through my to-do list for the day and prioritize my day. By 7, I'm working out, sauna, cold shower, get my 3rd cup of coffee by 8 in the morning from a Starbucks, and I'm over here at the office, take lunch about 11:30, and then afternoon I have a couple of meetings usually, and then I have to have a cigar by myself and regroup what happened all day.
Yeah,
that day, and then get ready for the next day.
What things are you cheap on?
Cheap on?
Yeah, what things do you not spend a lot of money on?
That's a good question. I'm trying to see what you should ask my wife. Well, I don't like to spend, like, I don't know, $10,000 on a bottle of wine, because I honestly don't appreciate it. To me, I can have a $30 bottle of wine. I does the same thing. I get, I enjoy it just as much. I don't know. Maybe watches. I mean, I don't. It's $100,000 watch, but I mean, I could buy $1 million watch, but I don't. I think it's waste of money. You know, maybe high fashion. You know, but
This is not something that matters as much to you, or
no, I don't appreciate it as much. Maybe I don't know. But I'm typically not cheap. Come on.
no, it's not about that. It's like
Yeah.
for me, I'm going.
I wouldn't say cheap. I would say that I would spend less money on would be like expensive wines, champagne, or anything else. I mean, I do drink cognac, $5,000 bottle of cognac because I smoke cigars, but wine I'm not so much. I charter jets all the time. Obviously, you know, jewelry, handbags. You know, on a special occasion, I like to treat my wife, and just vacationing, I would say, probably is my biggest splurge. I love vacationing. We went to Lake Como, and I'm actually getting a villa for a couple of weeks, taking my entire family to Lake Como.
How much does the private jet to charter cost?
Yeah, it's about $12,000 an hour.
An hour. So if you're going across America a few hours,
Yeah, like when we go to Cabo, it's like between 40 to 50,000 bucks just for the 3 days we go.
and then how much is like the hotels and like this experience?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, probably another 15, 20. Vacationing is the best money is spent because, you know, you can get time back, right? This 1 hour we spent, it's not going to come back. It's gone. So, you know, and as you get older, you appreciate time. And when you vacation, you're really spending your time with yourself and your loved ones. So it's the best money spent.
What's it like to drive around in a Rolls Royce? Like, you know, as an immigrant, you come here, didn't speak English, didn't have money, you lived in a Datsun, and now you're driving like this hundreds of thousands of dollar car.
Yeah, well, I have 4 Rolls Royces. I got 2 drop heads at Dawn and a brand new Ghost I bought for my wife. You know, I hate to say it, but to me it's normal because I've been driving Rolls Royce since 2004. When Phantom came out, I bought a brand new Phantom. Back then, the lease payment on that car was more than my mortgage payment. But everybody said, you're crazy. I said, no, you got to get used to having a bigger overhead. And I went to the Rolls Royce in Newport Beach and I told them, give me the highest payment you can give. They said, you mean lowest? I said, no, highest. So reduce the residual, whatever they do in leases, you know. So just, I want to pay down basically the lease. I want to have less payment in the year 5 when I want to buy it than, you know, normally you guys do.
Do you have any regrets, like working too hard? Was the money worth it? Or what regrets do you have in working too hard and was?
Oh, that was an important question. What regrets you have?
The money worth it?
Regrets, young, dumb, you know, I started making money and I was partying, single, and drinking, driving. That's my biggest regret because my friend that was in my car, you know, my car spun out, lost control. He wasn't wearing seatbelt, so he got ejected and, you know, unfortunately he passed away. That was a very dark moment in my life, but I would say that's my biggest regret in life.
Wow.
Being irresponsible, you know, young, doing stupid things, which I know a lot of young kids do, but, you know, sometimes you can't undo things like that, right? And, yeah, you pay for that for the rest of your life. So that's, like, probably my biggest regret.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to share that message. I do think, like, myself in the past have done it. I think a lot of people do it, so it's good to remember, like, you're not guaranteed to be safe there.
Yeah. It was a very unfortunate accident, but it's, I take the blame because I was the one driving and, you know, I was under the influence. So it's, yeah, definitely something that, you know, most people will not really get it until it happens to them, you know, because you think, hey, everyone's, you know, back then all my friends, we used to go to clubs, bars, you have a few drinks and you get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
it was like accepted, you know, but that's one thing I regret the most.
Do you feel like you work too much? Or that you maybe don't?
I don't work too much now. I used to work too much, you know, before, but now I have my kids. Like right now, weekends, even if somebody pays me $1 million, I wouldn't show up to do a seminar or work somewhere. Now, I do seminars for my students, but that's because it's part of the program. But I'm saying as a speaker or a job or a gig, you know, I wouldn't work on weekends. because I'd rather spend that with my kids.
How do you define success for yourself? Because I think when a lot of people see you, they say success, but I've always thought success is actually an internal measurement. So I'm curious how you think about it, or how you would decide it.
Well, to me, success is having the freedom to choose what you want to do when you wake up and being able to give back, which I think I've achieved. So, it's not how much money you have in the bank or how much is your net worth, it's being able to have the freedom.
If you loved this video, you are going to love this video right.
Wow, important. Okay guys, that's all for today. I take notes. Now I need to apply to all this information that I learned. And today I was reading this book. I highly recommend you this book, 100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. Super powerful book. And I will continue fighting for my dreams. I'm really tired. It's very hard to go live every single day and post a video every single day. Something happened with the subtitles and a lot of things went wrong with the video post today. I don't know if people would like it, but I tried my best. I really tried my best. I really appreciate you being here with me, even if we're like 2 minutes or 5 minutes. No matter, I really appreciate that. So see you tomorrow in tomorrow's stream. I will try to have the best attitude. That's all for today. And remember that you only have one life, one shot. So fight, even if you're tired.